There is a lot to unpack here, but it's interesting that Eamon brings up the national security point, because remember, that's how this whole thing got started in terms of requiring export controls on this very unique sector, as Eamon had said. It's because of national security effort. And all of a sudden, 15%, it makes that go away, seemingly.
Let's hone in on, yes, and we're going to discuss the AMD and NVIDIA and what appears to be, pay-to-play type of thing. But, the Intel calling for his resignation last week, he's compromised. I don't know if that was the word used, but that was implied in terms of his relationship with the Chinese government. Okay, today, and correctly, he gets himself to the White House. Good for him. That's a smart move. But if you think about what all this leads to, the whole built in the USA thing, Intel should be the poster child for that. So in the wake of whatever this was, I think you're going to start hearing Intel's investment in the United States and how this is a national security play, homeland security. Intel dovetails very nicely with that. I've said it for a while. It's been incorrect, but I think you buy Intel on this meeting.
Look at that pop in the after-hour session on the back of those positive True Social posts, up more than 2% here. So clearly, Louboutin was important to the story. The U.S. has a lot of stake in Intel as well. We, the taxpayers, gave Intel about $9 billion.
And there's a lot more there for them, too. And so I do think if you're looking at one of the concerns around Intel was balance sheet, and if anything, they've been contracting, I do think this is good news. Guys, right? Playing ball with the White House right now is pragmatic. Look what it did to Apple last week. Maybe I don't think it was totally that. But when you think about 24% of AMD sales are China, Intel in their last fiscal year, somewhere 13 to 15%, depending how you're counting it. They don't really care. Now, should we care? In a world where the U.S. is looking to export AI to the world, I think this makes a lot of sense. And in a world where, as someone that spent a lot of time in emerging markets and watched export licenses be bought and sold and the horse trading that went on with, it's what it feels like. And to extend the metaphor, data is the new oil. So if you think about the world that was 20 years ago, it was all about controlling resources, and now it's about controlling these resources. I agree. It makes no sense if in April the ban began because of security risks. How does security risks go away for 15 to 20%? They don't. But I do think this is probably good news for Intel.
Yeah, and you keep hearing about precedent, right? Larry Kudlow must be rolling over in his grave right now because this is not free market.
Larry's still
with us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying he must be frustrated over there, wherever he is, right? So you think about what's going on here. This is something that, it's like if it is about national security, if it is something that we were bolstering a lot of our national champions over here to create manufacturing because of what we learned in COVID, because of our concerns about, national security, you could have made the argument all along that Jensen Huang pushing for this, okay, for NVIDIA, is not doing it in the best interest of our country. This technology is going to find its way into their defense and intelligence apparatus, which is being used against us, like in their whole host of other different things. So I just think it's really funny that, this is an America First sort of thing. But if you want to pay, then you're fine. You get these export licenses. And so I don't know. It should be troubling. The precedent that's being set is a problem. If you are a foreign company looking to do business here in the U.S., what does that say about this as an environment to do business with? So I think the whole point of the trade war is to bring manufacturing back here. And what Apple just did is reiterating some of the stuff that they were already doing to avoid, let's call it, the tariffs also, but not just on their own products coming here, but on the chips that they need to go into their products. It just seems like we're in a really, really messy place. I don't think it gets that much clarity anytime soon. We just pushed out these China tariffs. There are still 30% tariffs on stuff coming in from China right now. So, again, I think we left the thorniest issues for the end of it, but we still don't even have a deal with Canada or Mexico.
It does feel, though, this is also the day where we got the 90-day extension on China. Now, maybe we were all expecting this, but it really does seem as if both sides want to quietly get a deal done. And it's interesting because if there was a place where the U.S. really could have had the greatest puff pigeon, using a yoga term, Guy, because I know that's helpful for you, it would be with China. It would be where there was unanimous support. In fact, I would argue on the other side of the aisle just as much support, more so. So I do think that for markets today, it was an interesting day, and semis really getting near those, actually extending to all-time highs.